'cause I lose. So I decided to grow. Yeah, decided to glue. Stick to the walls. Well, just got sick of the walls. So I decided to grow. Yeah, decided to glue. Stick to the walls. Well, just got sick of the walls. So I decided to grow. Yeah, decided to glue. Stick to the walls. There's been plenty of moments that I fell on hard times. More often than not, getting faded was my lifeline. I realized that I've always struggled with change, but sometimes you gotta rearrange before you go insane. I've been doing my best to stay true to myself, put my next foot forward and smoking dope for my health. I never give up the music till I'm rolling in wealth. Some days I swear this basement's my own personal hell. Well, I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you. I confess I'm obsessed with the sex. Heart palpitations every time that she texts. I admit that we ain't always been the best for each other, but what is love without the little test? Girl, you know you're my sneaky link. When I'm with you, my ego shrink. I'm just craving time for us alone. I think about you every time I'm home smoking dope. I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Monday. Happy to see all of you here. Yes, sir. How's it going, man? How's Australia? I know we talk from time to time. I hope it's still going well for you. Steezy, what's up? Yeah, I'm glad you missed me, but I'm always here. Okay, so big pump on Bitcoin. Not going to say we didn't expect it, but I'm going to give my thoughts on it, what to expect. I've obviously two kind of scenarios. One of them being that you're not going to see it in the charts with just BlackRock buying a ton of Bitcoin like they've been doing. The second scenario is obviously what we've been talking about on Twitter, what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, where we're just looking at a range because we're overextended on higher time frames. Let's get through this. So, SPX, nothing concerning. Ultimately, our macro error is up. There's no divergences, nothing bearish on the weekly. If we continue moving higher, there's no issues. What's up, Dorian? How's it going? All right. Not seeing anything concerning. We really only look at the S&P for a macro perspective. Not seeing anything concerning. If we continue to go up, now I've talked about this before, maybe we pull back, go up from there again. Bringing that RSI back down, bringing things back to the mean. That's definitely an option, but ultimately the direction's up. Nothing concerning here. What I wonder is, will SPX and Bitcoin consolidate together? Because, I know Bitcoin's at 70K. Awesome. No problems with that. But are we going to consolidate between 74 and 61 for the next 20, 30 days before we smash through all-time highs? DXY? So the good thing about this whole kind of upward move is we actually negated a potential double bottom, just like we were where we'd get one here. We actually negate the possibility of a double bottom. We are looking at a potential double top. Excuse me. A potential double top. Looks a little weird, but I do like to see this rejection here. So the more we reject, if we start to send back down, you're not looking at a double bottom anymore. I would really like to see the 100 level lost, but there's always that chance that maybe we just consolidate here for the whole bull run, for equities, for crypto, for everything. And then later down the line, and again, this would be in a year or so, we start heading upwards on the dollar again. With all of the fundamental issues with inflation, with interest rates, you'd almost imagine that eventually we're going to continue going up. So what if we consolidated for a year, had the last wave of the bull market? We've talked about that term before. Like the SPX, every 13 to 15 years, you have essentially a sideways and boring market or a downward cycle, depending on how you look at it. That's due to a bunch of different economical and just simple. I guess we'll just keep it economic because economics can cover everything. But really, if you think of this as a lower time frame and you're thinking technical analysis, you go up, you consolidate, you go up more, you consolidate. During that consolidation is considered like economic slowdown, recession, whatever, and then you continue moving upwards. But usually the last move up before a major correction is like that last impulse up is very unexpected. It's very volatile. It's very violent to the upside. It's a lot quicker, right? Where this, you have steady growth. This one will likely just be a straight up. And then the harsher, I don't think we're going to come all the way down to 3K. No, but something like this over the next, 5, maybe 10 years. I mean, we won't really know until we get there, but it would be right to assume. I mean, if you think of this as a 15-minute chart, I know this is a weekly, but all of this sideways is totally acceptable on a 15-minute. And we've been in a parabolic advance for quite a while. So some downturn, some sideways is more than likely. What's up, Hamlet? How's it going? I don't think I've seen you in here in a while if it's the same guy. Let's look at total. So what I do really like, ultimately, it's flipping prior resistance as future support. We are back above this kind of level. I wonder if it's completely up here, right? Couple things. So we can leave that there for now. Couple things. So what I'd like to personally see is, I'll bring out Bollinger Bands. We have a huge gap in our bands. Excuse me, my allergies are getting the best of me. We have a huge gap in our bands. We have 2 candles inside the band. Over the last several weeks, we were very, very overextended here. Finally put 1 candle in, recovered most of that drop here with that wick. However, if we move sideways, we start creating more volatility to break all-time highs. I mean, we're still very, very overextended. You look at RSI, and we're still sitting at an 87 RSI. And it's not to say we can't continue. It's not to say that, maybe things have changed with the ETF where there's so much being bought where it doesn't matter what any of this looks like. But if we're trading in, I know this is going to sound redundant, but if we're trading as traders, not investors, like if you're investing, that's different from trading. If you're trading, you're looking at indicators and looking at everything you need to. Yes, the uptrend, very, very strong. There's nothing bearish here, right? Volume going up, price going up. Everything's very, very, bullish. I know I said bearish. Allergies are getting to me. This is a very, very bullish uptrend. Nothing is bearish here. Ultimately, no bearish divergences. Everything's very, very strong. Bullish price action, so on and so forth. My issue is overextension. So even in uptrends, even in the kind of 2020 bull run, I mean, especially if you look at Bitcoin, we spent weeks of sideways. 3 or 4 weeks here. 3 or 4 weeks here. I mean, this is ultimately the top, but yes, we have these large impulses. Ultimately, the trend was very, very bullish until we got to about right here. Then volume starts to taper off as we're rising. We also had that huge head and shoulders here. So sell signals are there, but point is, after these large moves upwards, usually you see 20 to 30 days of correction. So are we on week 3 of our correction of possibly maybe 4? Maybe we just break all-time highs now, but again, you're very overextended. I mean, at this point, we dropped from 95 to 74. We had plenty of room to do that another 100% move upwards. So I would like to see more correction. I mean, even in 2017, you had significant, let's see, I think it's BLX. You had significant RSI corrections along the way here. Now, I know there's a lot different in 17 to now, but you still had all of these corrections. I mean, you're 90 to 55, 82 to 62. I mean, you had lots of corrections along the way. So, in my opinion, that's what we're going to get. I don't believe that this range is done. I also don't see... Let's get into the daily real quick. So my problem with the daily, you could argue, right? And I know we have our weekly resistance here, and let's just move into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's really dominating the market and dictating all the moves. But my issue, and I was explaining this today in the private analysis, someone had asked, well, isn't 68K one of your resistance levels? And I said, for right now we have it marked. On the 4-hour, it looks like resistance, right? You have all of these bounces here and some resistance here, but we draw daily and weekly resistance levels. That's really to avoid fake outs and other issues. Our other problem is, look how low volume is. Yes, you could argue that 68K has broken out, but what if tomorrow we just put a red candle back below? Now we know that 68K is in the true level of resistance, and maybe it's upwards of 71. So now you're looking between 74, 71, and 61 as support, but what if we bounce here at 64? Well, now we have 4 levels of support and resistance that we can confidently look to at least range trade or set up that kind of bull flag to set up a much larger trade in the future, a larger swing trade. Because ultimately, guys, the direction's up. There's nothing bearish on the weekly. Obviously, fundamentals are extremely bullish. Everything looks really, really solid. But getting a bull flag, especially over the next month, and again, kind of skipping ahead here, but it would give altcoins a chance to pump. Bitcoin dominance is back testing resistance. I would like to see this fall, come back down to support. Alts, alts move up during that period. If we get it now, if we break this resistance, it doesn't mean alts are going to go down. It just means Bitcoin's going to continue dominating the market. Alts are going to see less percentage gain. Some alts might do better than Bitcoin, but overall Bitcoin's going to do the best. And some confluence with the total and Bitcoin, just the overall market analysis on consolidation. I mean, look at tether dominance, right? You're overextended. We need a bear flag. We need to continue. Now, there's nothing bullish on this chart. There's nothing that says it's just going to do this. But again, overextension needs to be solved. You also have, just put a Bollinger Band on. Look at the distance between these 2 points. Our bottom band needs to start catching up with trend. We're not going to talk about where the RSI and how it looks compared to Bitcoin chart. Oh, yeah, on the daily. So yeah, the daily looks good. Like, don't get me wrong, the daily could easily push up a lot. I mean, we could easily push up 100% on the daily. No doubt in my mind we could do that. But my problem is the weekly, right? If you start pushing up on the daily again, now the weekly has more overextension. And I gave this example. Like, imagine the weeklies here. Let's say we go to 80K. Say right now we just pump and go to 80K, straight up to 80K. Well, now you're at a 96 RSI or a 93 RSI. You're at the second highest RSI has been or whatever. So does that mean our next correction we retest and continue, or we bull flag there, or do we just sink back into this range and now we're looking at a much larger range than we thought? So that's my issue. Now the daily, yes, I'll agree. The daily looks solid. But ultimately, I'd like to see a range. I mean, even just a trade, and Dorian, you know this, even just a trade, you want to see levels, right? You want to see these harsher rejection, then you can draw in these support and resistance levels. You can have more confidence to trade it. You can look for those reversal indications. I mean, let's just look at, where's MACD? Let's do this. So yeah, I mean, MACD could technically go, but I'd like to see this flatten out more. We get a much larger move, right? If you have patience, you'll have much larger move in the end. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum and Ethereum to Bitcoin. So Ethereum, nice bounce on the daily and weekly. So Ethereum looks like, I mean, nice range forming. RSI is corrected. My only issue is, okay, so someone asked if this is breaking down. It's not breaking down yet. It looks like it could. And this is another reason why I'd like Bitcoin to consolidate, because then Ethereum and some of these other alts could do better, right, than Bitcoin and take back some liquidity. Now, ultimately, they're not going to start alt season, but even a small move downwards here would give ETH plenty of room to grow up, and maybe we could break 0.06 and start heading upwards, or, you know, do something like this and maybe retest, or do something like this where we can retest further so Bitcoin can continue taking dominance. Because we're not even close to alt season. Ethereum hasn't even ran, right? I know a lot of you are like, oh, well, Ethereum's almost to $4,000. Yeah, that's great, but Ethereum hasn't even taken over the market yet. So ultimately, we haven't even seen close to the altcoin run we're going to get. For the weekly, yeah, 90 RSI is iffy for me too. I don't like that. Yeah, and that's to go to say, like, guys, in the basic rules of trading, you do not long something when you are overbought. Like, just to keep it as simple as possible, you don't long when you're overbought. I mean, you can clearly see the other examples of being at 90 RSI and what happens, right? So, again, you're in the simplicity circumstance where you're saying, I'm not willing to long this. Now, if we get this or this, all along there, maybe we do that over time and just range here, right? Bring RSI back down to 70 or 60. That'd be huge. But you don't long when you're at 85 RSI in the weekly. Let's look at one altcoin I've been keeping my eyes on, ICP. We talked about this. I've tweeted about it a bunch, talked about it on stream a bunch. It looks solid. I mean, this really is this is a solid bull flag breakout. Ultimately, RSI corrected. I hope some of you guys, and I know a lot of you have done this already, but I hope some of you guys look at the tweets and say, hey, this is solid. Another one I wanted to show is CRV. And this is something we've talked about with I guess with my patrons. I mean, I don't know how well versed you guys are in trading, but you have a gigantic double bottom here and a retest. I mean, if I were you and I didn't have any spot, or, you know, you had some extra cash for spot to buy alts, I mean, this is a gigantic reversal pattern on the weekly. And this thing's just waiting to send, right? We have a downtrend break as well and retest. I mean, you have the most bullish setup I have seen from an alt, right? I mean, at least currently. Double bottom, retest that diagonal, send upwards. I mean, it's right there in front of you. All right, guys, I know today was a little quicker. My allergies are horrible, so I'm a little, not like sick, but I'm just out of energy and not being lazy. I'll be here Wednesday, but I feel bad sniffling, coughing, and sneezing in front of you guys. So I'm gonna try and once my medicine kicks in, because you have to take it for like 2 weeks before it really works. I'll be we'll be a lot better, spend more time. But for now, I wanted to give my thoughts on Bitcoin. I know some people are getting FOMO, and again, the biggest thing here is we don't have an established range. Right, I know in hindsight you're like, oh, well, I could have bought here and sold here. Okay, great. But there's no established range. Volume is not validating a breakout. You know, nothing is truly reset yet on, you know, the weekly. So, you know, if you are someone that watches lower time frames and you're seeing all this movement and you're like, oh, I didn't get in a trade or this, that, and the other thing, open up higher time frames. They'll give you a much clearer view. You have to be patient for the move, but it will come. All right, I'm going to end it there.